"You're sure you want to go through with this?" Sam's voice was a mix of concern and excitement as she peered into the dusty attic. The beams of their flashlights danced across the cluttered room, illuminating a lifetime of forgotten memories. "We've been planning this for weeks," Alex replied, her eyes gleaming with the thrill of the unknown. "We're finally going to find out if the old man's stories are true." The creak of the stairs beneath their feet echoed through the house, sending shivers down Sam's spine. She had always been a bit more cautious than her friend, but Alex's determination was infectious. The two teenagers had grown up in the small town of Willow Creek, where the legend of the haunted house on the outskirts was a rite of passage. Every year they heard whispers of the strange occurrences, the eerie sounds, and the ghostly apparitions that supposedly plagued the old mansion. Now, armed with nothing but flashlights and a camera, they were about to test the limits of their courage. The attic was a chaotic mess of cobwebs and discarded furniture. Dust motes swirled in the beams of light, creating a ghostly aura around them. As they stepped further in, the floorboards protested, groaning under their weight. The air grew thick with a musty scent that seemed to cling to their clothes and the back of their throats. Sam swallowed hard, trying to ignore the sinking feeling in her stomach. "Remember, we stick together," Alex said, her voice a whisper in the vast, shadowy space. "And if anything happens, we run." Sam nodded, gripping her flashlight tighter. They had agreed to explore the house from top to bottom, hoping to capture some proof of the supernatural. But as they moved deeper into the attic, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The darkness seemed alive, pulsing with a malevolent energy that made her skin crawl. The first oddity they found was a child's rocking horse, abandoned in the corner. Its wooden eyes stared back at them, seemingly following their every move. Sam's heart skipped a beat as it rocked back and forth of its own accord. "It's just the wind," Alex murmured, though her voice wavered. They continued their search, pushing aside old trunks and boxes. The house had belonged to the town's founder, a man named William Hartwell, who was said to have locked his family inside and burned it down in a fit of madness. The townsfolk spoke of his ghost wandering the halls, searching for his lost kin. As they approached the center of the attic, a sudden gust of cold air sent their hair flying. The temperature dropped significantly, making them both gasp. A door, previously hidden by a thick layer of dust and debris, now stood open before them. The hinges groaned as if protesting the intrusion. "Let's check it out," Alex urged, her camera at the ready. Sam took a deep breath and nodded. They stepped into the room, their flashlights sweeping the space. It was smaller than the rest of the attic, almost claustrophobic, with walls lined with bookshelves and a single chair in the center. A strong scent of something sweet and sickly filled the air, making Sam's head swim. The books were ancient, their leather bindings cracked and ominous. A sense of foreboding grew with each step they took, the weight of the room's secrets pressing down on them. "Look at this," Alex said, her flashlight illuminating a large, dusty book. "It's got some kind of symbol on it." As Sam leaned in to get a closer look, the book fell open to a page filled with strange symbols and incantations. The room grew colder, the air thickening. They both felt a presence, something unseen yet palpable, watching them. "Let's get out of here," Sam whispered, her voice shaking. But it was too late. The door slammed shut with a resounding boom, cutting off their escape route. They spun around, their hearts racing as the lock clicked into place. The attic was eerily quiet, save for the distant sound of the rocking horse's rhythmic creaks. "What do we do?" Sam's voice trembled, her eyes darting to the sealed exit. Alex took a deep breath, trying to calm her nerves. "We keep looking," she said, her voice firm. "We need to find a way out and prove that there's nothing here." They moved through the room, their flashlights casting frenzied shadows on the walls. The sweet, sickly scent grew stronger, making their heads spin. Alex picked up the book and flipped through the pages. The words were in a language they didn't recognize, but she felt a strange pull towards it, as if it held answers to the house's dark past. As they approached the far side of the room, the floor gave way beneath Sam's foot. With a scream, she plummeted through a rotted floorboard, her flashlight clattering to the ground below. Alex rushed to the edge, peering into the abyss. "Sam, are you okay?" Her voice echoed through the darkness, but there was no response. The silence was deafening. Alex's heart pounded in her chest. "Sam," she called out again, her voice a hoarse whisper. Suddenly, a faint sound reached her ears. A low, guttural growl, unlike anything she had ever heard before. It grew louder, resonating through the house, shaking the very foundation. Alex's eyes widened in terror. "Sam. Sam, answer me." The only reply was the menacing growl, drawing closer. The house itself seemed to come alive with malice, the shadows stretching out like tendrils, reaching for them. Alex's mind raced as she scanned the room for anything she could use as a weapon. Her hand closed around a heavy metal candlestick. She clutched it tightly, her knuckles white with fear. The growling grew deafening, and the floorboards beneath her trembled. Something was coming. Alex took a deep breath and readied herself for what lay below, her thoughts racing to her friend in the darkness. With a crash, the creature burst through the rotted floorboards, a monstrous form of twisted limbs and shadows. Its eyes gleamed red, and its mouth was a gaping maw filled with jagged teeth. Sam screamed, her flashlight beam bobbing wildly as she tried to evade the creature's grasp. Alex's blood ran cold as she watched in horror. The creature was unlike anything she had ever imagined, a manifestation of every childhood fear brought to life by the twisted energy of the house. With a primal scream, she swung the candlestick, aiming for the creature's head. The metal connected with a sickening thud, and the creature recoiled, its growling turning to a pained shriek. Sam took the opportunity to scramble back up through the hole, her eyes wide with terror. "Run," Alex yelled, grabbing Sam's hand. They sprinted through the attic, the creature's shrieks following them like a hellish soundtrack. They stumbled down the stairs, each step threatening to give way beneath their panicked flight. The house seemed to have turned against them, the walls closing in as if to force them into the creature's path. They reached the door leading to the safety of the main floor, only to find it blocked by a wall of shifting shadows. The creature was gaining on them, its breath hot on their necks. Alex slammed the book onto the floor, the pages fluttering open. The shadows recoiled from the ancient text, giving them a brief respite. They bolted through the newly formed gap, the creature's howls of rage echoing in their wake. The house grew colder, the walls seemingly alive with malicious intent. They had disturbed something ancient and powerful, something that had been waiting for them in the darkness of the Hartwell mansion. As they descended the stairs, the lights flickered and went out, plunging them into a complete and utter blackness. The creature's growls grew fainter, but the feeling of being hunted remained. They could feel its eyes on them, watching, waiting for its chance to strike. The air was thick with the scent of decay and burnt offerings, a testament to the dark rituals that had once taken place within these walls. This way, Alex pointed to a faint light spilling from a doorway. They dashed through the inky corridor, their flashlights flickering in the oppressive darkness. The door at the end of the hall loomed like a beacon of hope. As they approached, the light grew brighter, revealing a room bathed in an unearthly glow. They burst through the door and slammed it shut behind them, the wood shaking as the creature threw itself against it. The room was a macabre shrine, adorned with candles and dried flowers, the walls covered in a cacophony of arcane symbols. In the center stood an ornate, wooden table with an open book atop it, the pages fluttering, as if beckoning them closer. "This has to be the source," Alex panted, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and awe. The book's pages were covered in the same language as the one they'd found in the attic. It was open to a spell that seemed to pulse with dark energy, drawing them in with an irresistible allure. "We have to break it," Sam said, her voice shaking. "It's what's keeping this thing here." They stepped forward, their flashlights illuminating the ancient text. The words seemed to twist and writhe as they approached, but the urgency to escape overrode their fear. With trembling hands, Alex picked up a candlestick from the shrine and slammed it down on the book, shattering the table beneath it. The house responded with a deafening roar, the walls shaking violently, as if in protest. The door behind them exploded in a shower of splinters as the creature crashed into the room. The creature loomed over them, a monstrous amalgamation of shadows and rage. Its eyes burned with the fires of hell, and its claws scraped the floor as it stalked closer. They had no time to run, they had to fight or become its next victims. Alex raised the candlestick, the symbol of their intrusion now a weapon of defense. "Back off," she screamed, her voice filled with a courage she didn't know she had. The creature paused, its eyes narrowing as it focused on the two defiant teenagers. For a brief moment, it seemed to consider their challenge before lunging at them with terrifying speed. With a final, desperate cry, Alex and Sam swung their makeshift weapons, the candlestick connecting with a loud crack against the creature's skull. It stumbled, and for a second, the house's hold on it wavered. They didn't wait to see if it would rise again. They turned and sprinted out of the room, the creature's enraged howls fading behind them. They found themselves back in the hallway, the front door within sight. They didn't stop running until they were outside, gasping for breath in the crisp night air. The house loomed behind them, its windows now dark and silent. They had survived, but the horror of the Hartwell mansion had left its mark on them both, etched into their very souls. Their hearts pounding, they looked at each other, the gravity of what they'd just experienced sinking in. They had sought the thrill of the supernatural and had found something far more terrifying than they could have ever imagined. "We're not telling anyone," Alex said, her voice low. "They'll think we're crazy." Sam nodded in agreement. "But we know the truth," she said, her eyes haunted by the memories of the creature's malevolent gaze. The house stood silently, a brooding sentinel of secrets and shadows. As they walked away, the wind picked up, carrying with it a faint whisper that seemed to say, "You're not the first, and you won't be the last." The town of Willow Creek would continue to whisper about the Hartwell mansion, but now the legend had new life, born from the terror of two teenagers who dared to uncover the truth. And deep within its walls, something ancient and evil stirred, waiting for the next unsuspecting souls to cross its threshold.